supposed to be the helmet that does everything. Highway miles, backroad adventures, full-on off-road trails, yet somehow still be light and premium. But does the Touratech Aventuro Pro Carbon actually do all of that, or is it just trying to do too much? Well, today we're going to be putting that to the test to find out if this carbon fiber ADV lid is the all-in-one do-it-all helmet that Touratech says it is. I'm Chaseontwowheels, this is Moto Gear Show, let's get into it. Okay, so let's start off with the basics. The Aventuro Pro Carbon Sport is a premium adventure touring helmet built around a carbon fiber shell to keep the weight down. Now, it's going to come in 3 different shell sizes, and it's both ECE 2206 and DOT certified. And if you're running it in the size large like I am, and you have the peak installed like most ADV guys are going to have, it's going to come in at a weight of 1765 grams, or that's 3 pounds 14 ounces. You also got a tool-free removable peak. You've got a Pinlock ready clear shield with the Pinlock actually included in the box, and you have a removable washable liner. The visor also opens up large enough to fit goggles on the inside, and Touratech was nice enough to add some little goggle strap on the back of the helmet for you. So obviously this thing is made for people going from street to dirt. Now, before we get too deep into the video, I want to see how this thing compares to other big players in the ADV helmet space. Alright, so first off, our baseline is the Touratech Adventure Pro Carbon. Like I told you guys, it's 1765 grams, and it comes in at a price of $799 US. Highlights of this thing, you're looking at a carbon fiber shell, tool-free peak, and a strong feature mix. Next up, we have the lightest in the category, and that's the Climb Cryos Pro. Weight-wise, you're looking at 1450 grams, a price tag of $699. Highlights of this one are that it's lighter, it's got a super airy feel, but it has a less refined liner fit. Next up, we have a helmet we've reviewed here on the channel before, and that's the Arai XD5. Coming in with a weight of 1814 grams, price tag of $889 USD. Highlights here, it's heavier, it's got that classic Arai build quality, and it's ultra refined. Next up, another helmet we've reviewed is the Schuberth E2. Weight-wise, you're looking at the heaviest in the category for 1860 grams with a price tag of $799 USD. Highlights here, it's the quietest of the bunch, it also is the heaviest, and it's touring oriented. And finally, we have the Shoei Hornet X2. Weight-wise, you're looking at 1807. Price-wise is $649. Highlights here are, this is like the balanced all-arounder. It's got a solid visor system, and it has a heavier feel. So, as you guys can see, the Touratech's not going to be the lightest helmet in the class. That award's going to the Climb, because holy crap, that thing wins by a pretty significant margin. But what you are going to get is middle tier pricing with a lot of features packed in. Okay, so now that we have a better idea of where this helmet sits in the market, let's get to the review after we do a shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Break Free, which is convenient because I have been running one of these on the back of this helmet the entire time I've been testing it. If you guys have never seen the Break Free before, it is a very simple light up device that goes on the back of your helmet and helps you be seen by the people behind you. What this thing does is super simple. There are no wires, there's no app, there's literally nothing to fuss with. You put the little mount on the back of your helmet, this thing clicks on, you charge it with USB-C, and what it does is it has an accelerometer that tells it when you're slowing down. That's using the brakes, that's engine braking, that's anything. And when you slow down, the lights will automatically blink, and it has a couple different modes that you can blink in. This is easily the best safety device to keep you seen on-road and off-road. Off-road, there's a lot of stuff going on, and having one of these would make it so much easier for the people behind you to tell you're slowing down. It is an incredibly helpful device, and I love partnering with these guys because I authentically believe in the product. I put these on every one of my helmets, and honestly, I can tell if I don't have this on. Cars just seem to follow me way closer than they were before. Regardless, big shout out to Break Free. If you guys want a discount on a Break Free, I've got a discount code right here. I'll have a link to Break Free in the description down below. Break Free, thank you for sponsoring the video. You guys go get some safety stuff, and let's get to this review. Alright guys, so first off, let's go into how this thing feels on your head. Now, when I first put this helmet on, I did notice that it had a very tight fit onto the helmet. That's not necessarily a problem. That just means there's extra padding right down here, but you are gonna notice a tighter fit onto your head, and then it kind of opens up once your head gets into the helmet. Now, I will note this helmet doesn't have a ton of area around the ears. So what you're gonna have to do, or what I have to do at least, is I have to put the helmet on halfway and kind of like tuck my ears in, because once you put the helmet on fully and it bends your ears down, there's not enough room for your ears to like pop back into place. So that's just a little note that I have while I was wearing the helmet. Now, the inside fits really firm. It's holding your head really tight, but it feels firm in a good way. It's not like overly tight or anything like that, but overall the fit on the inside is really nice. I like having that firmer fit because it just makes me feel like the helmet's doing its job and holding me tightly. Now, the quality of the inside padding is pretty nice. It's not like a rye plush or anything like that, but it's certainly a solid inside liner. I will note something kind of strange with the fitment on the helmet. When I'm wearing the helmet like normal, I got no problems, no issues, no pressure points, no nothing. It broke in really well. But when I wear my motovlogging setup, and I normally leave this for the end of the video, but I want to put this here because it's about fit and stuff like that. When I put my clamp-on motovlogging helmet setup, obviously is a clamp on the front of the helmet with a camera. Weight is it's gonna weigh the helmet down in the front. When I use that, after about half an hour of riding, I get a weird pressure point on the right back side of my head. It's super strange. It's only on one side, so I can't really explain what's going on, but a pressure point happens there. So again, when the camera setup's not on there, this doesn't happen. So I don't know what's going on with the padding back there, but it's kind of strange. Overall, without having a camera set up on the helmet, it fits great. It's a little snug. It's a little snug to get on, but overall it fits really snug and I liked it. So next up, let's talk about how this helmet handles the wind, which is kind of a hard time for ADV helmets. I mean, you got this giant peak on your helmet, like obviously it's gonna have a harder time with the wind. Honestly, whenever you're just riding, I didn't really have that big of a problem. The helmet peak felt really stable. It didn't wiggle around in the wind or anything like that. Now, obviously, when I turned sideways to do like head checks on the highway, I could definitely feel some drag pulling on it. But as long as I was looking straight, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Also, one of the really cool things about this peak that I didn't even realize until I started really diagnosing this helmet for this review is that the peak on the helmet has a little mini peak on the front that you can literally just pop off. It kind of just extends the helmet. So if you wanted the helmet in a peak mode but slightly sportier, you can just pop that thing off. Speaking of popping that thing off, this is one of the really cool things that I like a lot about this helmet, is the peak is fully removable with just screws. You can literally just pull off the side of the road, unscrew the two on the sides and the one on the top, and the whole peak will just pop off. It's totally independent of everything else on the helmet, and I love that. I actually did that while I was doing the sound test that we're gonna talk about later in the video. I literally just pulled off the side of the road. I didn't have to take the helmet off at all. I just reached up here, undid all the screws, popped it off, threw it in my tank bag, and I was good to go. And now I'm in like the sport mode, right? I'm on street mode. I love that because if I was gonna be riding my ADV bike to dirt roads, I could literally take the peak off, put it in one of my bags, ride to the dirt road, and then if I wanted the peak on, because I'm gonna be off-road doing lower speed stuff, I just popped the peak back on. It was a really cool experience that I liked a lot, so this helmet definitely gets extra points for that. Alright, so guys, next up, let's talk about how this thing flows air and the ventilation of the helmet. Now, off the bat, dude, this thing has 8 openings for air coming into the helmet. It has 3 on the top, it has 2 like eyebrow vents, an extra air vent right here, and then it has 2 vents on the front. It has probably the most vents I've ever seen on a helmet before. Now, I'm gonna be honest about the ventilation. I saw how many vents this thing had, and I was like, bro, this is about to flow so much air into my face. And the first couple rides that I went out and intentionally had every vent opened, I just thought the ventilation was okay. So I don't know if I messed something up or what was going on. Maybe I had a larger expectation of how much air I'd be getting with all of those vents opened up, but it wasn't bad. It was just okay, so I'm kind of feeling like my expectation was a little too high. Okay, so let's talk about one of the gripes I have with some of the ventilation, but we'll get into it. So first off, let's start with the front vents, the 2 on the front. The lower one just goes up and down, and the top one actually opens out like that, so the air has to come in. I think that's there so that when you're riding on a dusty trail behind somebody or something, there's as much dust will not come into the helmet into your face. That's really cool. And there's also a filtration system, like a little filter right in front of your mouth area on the inside of the helmet. So that's really cool. I love the kind of dirt focused features on this helmet. Then we have the vents right here above the eyebrows and right in the middle of your forehead kind of area. All of those vents, the 3 here and the 2 on the bottom, they work great. They feel really good opening and closing. You get a good satisfying feeling of when they're open and closed, and you can actually tell it's opened and closed. You know what I mean? Like you click it and you're like, okay, cool, it moved. The top 3 vents feel like they are from a different helmet entirely. They take literally no energy to move back and forth. They don't really feel like they're clicking into place.
You see how easy that is?
There are so many times that I would just be riding and I would just be moving this, being like, did I shut it? Is it open? I cannot tell at all. It's so strange that the front vents are fine and the top ones are not. So I don't know what's going on there, but for Touratech, my recommendation would be, I want that clicky feeling on all of my top vents, just like I have on my front vents. That was kind of frustrating for me, where it was just like, how is the quality so different than what is there?
These will move the helmet all the way around to get them moving. These, you know what I mean?
Overall, not a huge deal, just one of those little nitpicky things that I really look for with my vents and I didn't have here. But overall, the ventilation worked pretty good and the other vents are cool, so I appreciate that. Next up, let's talk noise levels on this helmet, and for that, you guys know we got to do our patented, I guess it's not patented, our patented audio testing. Now, this one's a little different, and I kind of want to start doing this with the ADV helmets, especially a helmet like this that's made to be ran in different modes. So what I did with the audio test, normally we test it with a microphone at the front of the helmet and a microphone here on the ear area of the helmet. We tested at road speed and highway speed. But for this one, I wanted to do 2 extra tests. I wanted to test both of those things with the peak on, like I would ride it off-road, but I also wanted to remove the peak and see what it sounded like without the peak there, to see if the peak was causing extra wind noise and stuff like that. And without further ado, here is our testing results. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this thing sounds kind of loud. I understand that. Not a huge shocker with it being a carbon fiber helmet. This is one of our trade-offs. When we want lighter helmets, we're gonna have a louder helmet because there's less things insulating it, because they're trying to get the weight down so much. Now, I will say we can solve this problem. Wear earplugs, problem solved. And if you're worried about the motovlogging stuff, don't, because the videos that I've recorded with this helmet have sounded fine. Another situation where the wind noise sounds bad in our audio test, but the motovlogging stuff sounds good.
Hey guys, at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure this bike out. And you know, if you're a first-time rider, I think this bike would be fine.
So keep that in mind. I'll talk more about that in the motovlogger section, but this is most definitely a helmet that I'm gonna say anywhere you ride it, I'm gonna recommend earplugs. I would recommend earplugs regardless, but it's like a warning on this helmet. Wear earplugs. Moving on, let's talk about the visibility and the visor system. Now guys, first off, one of the biggest things I noticed when I first put this helmet on was just how much lower I could see than other helmets that I've worn before, especially ADV helmets.
Look at the visibility. How crazy.
I really noticed how much of my dash on the motorcycle I could see when I was on bikes that I normally ride, and I'm just like looking down, I'm like, holy sh! I can look down and see so much. So your vertical opening on this helmet is going to be impressive. Now, the visor works really well. I can see through it with absolutely no problem, and taking it off is super simple. I had to take mine off to install that pin lock. It's got a little plastic mechanism on the side, and the visor pops out really easily. The visor mechanism on the side doesn't feel the most high quality. It's just a plastic, but it worked very well with little to no problems on my end. I will note that one of the things I wasn't a huge fan of is the locking of the visor. So I would be riding and I'd have it kind of cracked a little bit to get a little bit of extra air. When I went to lock it, sometimes it would lock in place and sometimes it didn't. I felt like I had to give it a hard squeeze for it to click eventually and lock in place. Didn't really love that. It was a little too hard to make that happen, especially if you're in a situation like I am a lot where I'm riding in the city, I get to a red light, I want to pop my visor open. Sometimes it's not locked and it just pops open easily, and other times it is locked down. And here's where another issue I have is when this visor is locked down, it has a little tab in the front if you want to open it to the front. It has two little side tabs so you can open it from the side with either hand. When this thing is locked, it is sometimes incredibly difficult to get it to open on the sides. There were multiple times I'm out riding with the helmet on a first ride or one of my bikes or something like that, and I'm just going to open the visor and I go and I try, and my head just kind of does like this, and I'm like, huh, okay. Those times I'm having to literally with my neck hold my head down and really aggressively kind of like pop it up before it pops. And when it pops, it's like, paka! God damn. That I would love to be different. Like, this helmet is so freaking premium. It feels so good in so many areas. And then it has super little annoying things like the top vents and then this visor situation. One of the positives I will say from that visor system for an off-road helmet that's supposed to be the one-all do everything is when that visor is locked, the seal around that visor is incredible. There is no air, no water gonna kind of seep through the edge of that thing. It is on lockdown. So that's a positive, but I really want them to work on that kind of latch mechanism. And I mean, it's not even a mechanism, it's just like a little hook that goes in. I feel like a lot of work can be done there to really give this thing a better usability or something like that. All right, so guys, next up, let's talk about Bluetooth setup, because you guys know I ain't riding in a helmet without my Cardo Pack Talk Pro in there, so I can listen to music and talk with my buddies and all that kind of stuff. Also, shout out Cardo, there's a discount for you. If you guys want to listen to music and talk to your buddies in your helmet, it's the only way to go. Check that out. Anyway, the installation process went super simple with this helmet. Wire management was no problem, as you guys can see. And I really like that this helmet has this little area on the side of the helmet that's kind of flat. It works out perfectly to attach your Cardo on the side of the helmet, and it is in the perfect spot of where I want a Cardo to be. So I really loved that whole situation. I will note, when I was taking the padding out to route all the wires through the helmet, it was a little weird because Touratech uses a kind of weird clip system, but once I got used to it, it wasn't really a big deal. As far as like running the speakers and stuff like that, it has little cutouts for the speakers that are perfectly sized. They have the material on the helmet already, so the speakers will just like Velcro into there, and they fit literally perfectly. So I really appreciate that. The only downside to the Cardo stuff on this helmet is because the helmet is so loud, I do wish the speaker areas were a little closer to my ears, because I find myself like turning my volume all the way up to the max and I still can't hear it as loud as I want. I'm over here trying to like drown out all the wind noise, and I just wish I could have my ears a little closer to the speakers so I could hear my audio a little better. Overall, super happy with everything and love using the Cardo with this helmet though. Alright guys, so next up, let's talk about the motovlogging setup with the Touratech helmet. Now, can you motovlog with it? Absolutely. I filmed multiple first rides with this helmet. The audio is solid, everything worked. Obviously, we posted them on the channel, so you know that it works at a high level. But I will add some caveats here. One, My motovlogging setup, that clamp-on thing, does cause that little pressure point in the back corner of my head. If I wanted to continue motovlogging with this helmet, I would have to come up with a lighter setup so it doesn't pull the helmet down as much. Keep in mind, that motovlogging helmet setup is causing that, and that's with a brake free on the back. Generally, with helmets like this that have this problem, the motovlogging helmet and the brake free kind of even each other out. That's not even happening on this helmet. So if I wanted to keep motovlogging with it, I'd have to come up with some sort of lighter setup. The other issue that you're gonna run into is that if you mount anything on the very front of this helmet, you are gonna block some major primary air intake for you as the rider. So you have that big vent in the front, you have that tiny little air vent. That's all gonna get blocked with a camera up there. So can you do this? Yes. If I was going to recommend anything to you guys, if you wanted to buy this helmet as a motovlogging helmet, I would recommend mounting a camera on the side with some adhesive mounts and then just run a bar to the front that has like a quick release over here. That way you can take it off and have access to here, and then you can click it on only when you want to record with it. Overall, I wouldn't call this helmet an ideal motovlogging helmet, but it's definitely capable if you need it to. Obviously, I was really happy with the audio in all of my videos, so you guys would be too. All right, guys, let's see how this thing lays out with the chase score. For comfort and fit, it's getting an 8. Ventilation-wise, I'm gonna give it a 7. Noise level is gonna get a 6. Visibility is getting a 9. Weight-wise, I'm gonna give it an 8. Comm setup gets a 9. Motovlogging setup gets a 7. Features gets an 8. Value for money is a 7. And finally, durability and build quality is getting an 8. And guys, that's gonna give it a total chase score of 77 out of 100. All right, guys, so let's wrap this thing up with who this helmet is for. It is most certainly gonna be for somebody that does all sorts of riding. They're on the street, they're on the dirt, and they want one helmet that they can just use for multiple different things. It's a good premium lightweight helmet that comes in at a respectable price that has a few little things that annoy me that overall don't really matter that much. I will note that I really like wearing this helmet when I'm not recording, which is kind of a strange statement to make, but that's the time I enjoy riding in this helmet the most. When I don't have to have the camera on the back, I can have my brake free, and I can just ride anywhere I want. I have really enjoyed this helmet a lot. Specifically, the visibility and the tightness on the inside of the helmet, I just feel really safe riding in this thing. Obviously, it's got all the certifications, so I don't gotta worry about that, but it's one of those helmets that I just like going for a ride in. I don't wanna have to worry about recording or anything like that, and that's when I'm riding in the helmet, I'm really enjoying this thing. Alrighty guys, that's my full review of the Touratech Aventuro Pro Carbon. I love saying Aventuro, I don't know why. Anyways guys, if you have one of these, let me know in the comments. Do you guys have that same issue with little pressure points if you're recording with your stuff? Or just let me know what you think about the helmet in the comments down below. The comment section, by the way guys, if you're looking into this helmet, is a treasure trove of information. These helmet reviews have great comment sections. Get down there and read other people's opinions on the helmets, because I've only had this thing for a few weeks. These guys have been riding thousands of miles in these helmets. Check them out with the info down below. Have some conversations down there. It's a solid spot. Also, don't forget, if you're riding around without a brake free, definitely check into those and save yourself some money with my discount code. It is one of the easiest safety mechanisms you can add to your riding kit that will keep you sane, which means you guys stay safe. If you guys have a helmet you want me to review, drop it in the comments down below. I'm Chaseontwowheels. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Later.